We need the Second Amendment, and regular citizens need guns of war for real for two reasons. One is in case somebody comes and tries to invade our country, the whole citizenry will be armed, and that's a very different country to invade. It's like trying to go into Iraq or Afghanistan. We tried that. The whole citizenry is armed, and that creates a serious obstacle to taking over a little country, even if you're the United States. It obviously creates a problem. And the other reason is the reason it was framed and started in the first place is in case the government gets too tyrannical. If the government stops serving the needs of the people and starts serving its own interest, then the people have the power to fight back against the government. Otherwise, they're powerless, and the people in power will control the citizenry for their own ends if the population is powerless to do anything about it. There have been plenty of studies, plus it's just common sense, that if you give people ultimate power, they will use it. And if you balance the power, then it works. And that's why they did it in the first place, because they knew even back then that if you give too much power to one person, like a king, they'll use it for their own desires. That's just how that works. And so they said we need a balance, and the citizenry needs to be able to stand up to the government if necessary, and that will keep the government serving the citizenry. And then there are times when the citizenry has to go to war and save the government. As long as our self-interest is intertwined, it works fine. But if you take the power away from either side, then the whole thing collapses. And so we need guns for that reason, to balance the citizenry against the authorities, against the government. And if people will realize that and start accepting that law-abiding citizens deserve to have weapons of war, and they do all across the country in huge numbers, and it's less than 1% that abuse it. And this idea has been proven so many times, as you don't take away rights from a large number of people when a small percentage. It's like when you're in school and one person's talking and you say, if you talk again, the whole class is going to be punished, and that doesn't work. It turns the class against you. And what you have to do is figure out how to deal with that one person. Hopefully get them out of class, but if not, figure out how to shut them down and make them be quiet. And if we can not frighten everybody with this idea that we're going to make them powerless in front of the government, and realize and say point blank that yes, that is a necessity. What do we do now? Then we can start coming up with reasonable ways to address this problem of these few fringe people that do this insane stuff. And it's a very, very small number of gun owners, less than 1%. And a lot of it happens in schools. A very good bit, most of it happens in our public schools. And we need to talk about why that is and what's really wrong with the schools.